Hello, my name's Peter Vaughan and I'm here to talk about education. I was running for politics in this country and even for mayor last year in Auckland, New Zealand, and I found the whole system corrupt. So I've backed off and come back to my roots here, which is teaching people about themselves and how to improve the quality of their lives. And in this one here, I'm talking about education. We have children, and I've got 10 of them in a circle here. Those 10 children I've given a number to. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11. No 10. And the reason I've done that is because we have a system on this planet which is in harmony with the planet, with the sun, and with not astrology but astronomy itself. When you understand the laws, like the law of gravity, it was always there, but somebody discovered it one day when an apple fell off a tree, or so called. That's Isaac Newton. And we now have laws that we work with gravity. Why don't we have laws that work with sound? Well, there is one law, because once we went faster than the speed of sound, boom, a big sonic clap happens, and people had to figure out, why did that happen? Once you understand the power of sound, you've got new laws that go with it. The speed of light is no longer the fastest speed. It's been well surpassed, and we're going into quantum speed communications now. So what's wrong with looking at our alphabet? Because our names are made up from the alphabet. Where did the alphabet come from? Do you know how many letters there are in the English alphabet? Not everybody gets the right answer. I had someone tell me 30 yesterday. The aspect of that, though, is each of the letters represents something in history. The A was once an ox. It represented an ox in the hieroglyphs, and it looked a little bit like this, like that. People have seen me do this before. It's an ox's head with the yoke over its shoulder to pull a cart or plough a field very quickly. So things happen very quickly with that letter, and literally it turns into that after the Phoenicians and the Romans had their hands on it for a while. So every letter has a history, and it comes from some pictogram of some sort, so you could say that it's shorthand for pictures. So if we take the letters of here and we create a person's name, like I've done here for the word Deborah, and that would be a name which I've given the letters here underneath them of the numbers. D is the 4th letter, E is the 5th letter of the alphabet, B is the 2nd letter of the alphabet, or H is the 8th letter of the alphabet, it was the 18th letter. 1 plus 8 is 9. And there we have, there it is, R. So that's 9 letters, and that's 18 letters. It's a reduction of the letter for simplicity's sake, at this level anyway, and then we can find out what that name sums to. As Deborah sums to 8, it would be this young girl here. But the name Deborah and Wendy and Helen are all 8 names for girls. So let's take that aside as just being a means, or like a mechanical way of looking at, gosh, you can actually put people in a position. You can put them in one of 9 places, like one of 9 places. Number 11 here, because 11 is linked with the autism spectrum disorder. That actually, those words there, those 3 words, when summed down using that particular graph to their single digits, as I've done, and add them up, they add to the number 11. Now most of the children, and I say most, more often than not, the children that I look at have different levels of autism. Bill Gates is Asperger. She's Asperger's. When you're looking at what they're like, they're not the same as most other people. They're a bit different. Not different negative, just different. They act different, they look a bit different because of the way that they do when they don't look you in the eye. Well, they might have a funny habit. They want to do things equally, like that. Move my head 4 times. You might have seen that in a movie called As Good As It Gets. That particular film was about a person who was so fastidious over doing things equally, it almost drove you mad. It was a great movie though. So if kids then have got a number, and their name can also be a number, their birthday is also a number, their language, they're both languages. So numbers are a language, as are letters a language. The word educate, and the numbers underneath educate, sum to the number 5. Students also sums to the number 5. Number 5 here, it doesn't matter which way you start this little square, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Or I could go this way, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It just means that 5 is always in the middle. The number 5 I found when studying teachers, often their whole name or their first names, like a called name, adds up to teacher. Now, I'm a teacher, and if you add up my full name, it sums to the number 5, which is kind of uncanny because my mum wanted me to be a preacher and preach to the world, and I've become a teacher in this field of teaching people about themselves and where they're going. And I've met some pretty amazing people throughout my life. I've met actors and famous people, so people like Bob Proctor, for example, film stars, people who are magnates in business, who have been fascinated by what I do. It's just a case now of bringing this out for the public so that they can have a look at this too and use it. But moving over here, so for advances in education, what this video is all about, teachers have specialty subjects and given classes to teach their topic. Here's a bunch of teachers. What topic do these teachers teach? What they're doing is they're talking to kids in classes with their specific subject matter that they're very, very good at, that they've done in their university years and came out with in chemistry or English or arts or whatever it might be. But which teacher here would match these children? Because all these children are different, hence the numbers are different. By bringing a child like this one here, this number 3, a man's name or a boy's name that's James, for example, will sum to the number 3. And I go, oops, I was going to pick up my pen, just put that up there just to show you that. James. We go for J, it's in the first column, there it is, 1. The first column is A is 1. M is the fourth column, there it is, M there. E is in the 5th column and S is in the 1st column. And S happens to be the 19th letter of the alphabet. Let's just chop that down a wee bit. 1 plus 9 equals 10. 1 plus 0 equals 1. So I can go 1, 1, 4, 5 and 1 and then sum them up. 1 and 1 is 2 and 4 is 6, 5 is 11 and 1 equals 12. 1 plus 2 equals 3. So when you've got James, like that could be called James, he's a 3. But James has people that are a little bit like him but not quite the same. And because James can be very artistic, musical, loud, sporty, fun, 9 people are similar. So let's go around to number 9 here. We could have another person here with another name a bit like James as well. So we've got a way of putting people in groups and teach them and educate them the way that the children receive education, the way that they understand it. If you teach somebody in a manner that the child doesn't match up with or doesn't understand fully because they may be autistic and therefore they have to have a different way of receiving information for them, they don't need disturbances, they've got to concentrate. You could be speaking to a person who is an auditory, who learns by listening. You can't talk to that person in monotone. You've got to give your voice some kick and some fun. And you've got to change your pitch, run it along a bit quickly, slow it right down. When you're trying to tell a story and make it well. Kids who are visionaries, they need you to move. You've got to have objects that you can point to and talk about so that they're learning this way. And you've got those who have touch. They need to feel something. Here's our pen today. They're a brand new model of pen that we're using on the whiteboard. Have a look at this. It's not chalk anymore. And they'll look at it and they'll smell it and think, wow, this is cool. These are the ways people learn. But they're not just 3 kinds, visuals, auditories and kinesthetics, or feeling-based. There's a whole variety of ways of learning. Bruce Lee, he's now passed, but the famous martial artist, said that when he taught his students, he taught them in a manner that they would understand it, not the way he would teach it. He gave them the instruction, but he let them learn it their way and help them along the way, because nobody can be a Bruce Lee. It was not able to be done. No one can replace Albert Einstein or any other great person. There's only one Colonel Sanders who created the Kentucky Fried Chicken. So when you're looking at that, how can we then not say that these kids here could be dumbed down at school because you're not educating them the way that they need to be educated? Well, we've created software now that actually does that. So why are children who have varied means of learning not being given teachers who understand how a child should be taught? Children can be screened remotely I've got a remote system here, can be screened remotely for their learning style and be placed with educators who can teach 98% more effectively if the teacher knows what the child is like and how to teach them. And put a group of those kids together in a class, 30 of them, because they'll all learn the same way. You'll be getting it across, but you must have a teacher who is like that class. And that's not hard to do. It's just shuffling. So if this is a failure in the education system, and now it's really easy, I'm putting a few extra words in it, and now it's easy to accomplish. The material covered in this video should be investigated as it holds the answer, and it requires peer testing. Now, I have spoken to people in our government, not the MPs, but the government itself, who said, why have we not been taught this stuff? Why did we not know about it? Well, I finally got gutsy enough to say, right, I'm going to teach the world this stuff now. I've got courses that teach this material, not so much this, but more, understanding how the letters and the numbers make us who we are. Not just that, but I get into the brain area, and I teach about how certain parts of the brain, which are your initial learning years, go into here and remembered forever. That particular area in the brain acts differently than any other part of the brain. They're called the amygdala. That part fires differently. It creates emotions and chemistry that makes you feel different, want to run away or be attracted to. I go into all this area to provide evidence that this works. It's not guesswork, it's very, very scientific. I've done it for 40 years now, and well over 200,000 case studies have gone through my fingers on my computers, and I'm looking at everything. So if we can have teachers that match children, that we can identify autistic children right from birth. By the names we give them, we are changing the way that they operate. I've done this with helping mothers with babies that have been sick. They've given them a name which really crashed with the baby's makeup. Often a person who names a child does it because they're a bit strong-willed and want the mother to do this with this kiddie. There's so much, well, even now I've started teaching this online, people are starting to get an idea of, my God, where does this come from? A long time of just crash learning on my part. So if educate and the word students both match the number 5, this is what teachers should be like. They should be people who are able to teach, and therefore they've got to be of a particular makeup. And they teach in specific areas. A woodworking teacher does not teach out their geography or words or things like that. They like to teach what they're good at. And that's what makes a good teacher a good teacher. But only the kids who like that class will enjoy it and learn from it. Most people who are successful in this world are not successful because of school. They're successful because they failed at school. And they learned in the real world, sometimes all too late, that they're really good at something else. So no good giving a child an intellectual education if they want to be a builder, and all they needed was maths and English. That's all. So that they could then bring all these other skills in and make them happy right from the word go. So, in every respect then, if autism spectrum disorder equals the number 11, and I've given this little girl here, number 11, Greta Thunberg adds up to the number 11, and all these children are similar with their names and meaning. She has now come out and said that she is, or Asperger, which is a condition, a branch out of the autistic spectrum, and made them what they are. Let's get these kids organised so that the ones that are in here, put numbers under each one that's to what they're like, and 11 and 22 is the same as saying 2 and 4, but at a higher level. And we can help our kids. Let's do this. Get hold of me, Peter Vaughan, 77@gmail.com. I have a website where I do predictions and things like that, which have been done on specifically to help people realise that we can pick our presidents, we can pick our prime ministers, we can pick our partner that works well with each other. petervaughan.net, and you'll get me there. Let's fix this up if we can. You'd be surprised at what else I teach. I teach this online. I do profile reports for people. You can go to my site, order yourself a profile. They're going to go up in price on the 7th of November, so this time has gone past in 2020. You've been a bit late on the cheaper price, because what was $70 now is going to go up to about $120. But I do have a smaller package. That means you can be looking at each month that's going by and be kept up to date so that you know what's happening in your life. Try to help as much as I can. and I'd love to help you. But thanks for watching this one. Share it around. You never know, you might need a question answered about a particular person, and I can help out there. Thanks for watching. Catch you on the next video. Peter Vaughan signing out. What's today? 7th of October, year 2020. Thank you.